We begin this morning with more unidentified objects in the skies over the United States.
Yeah, the Pentagon has confirmed that 3 objects have been shot down in American airspace since Friday, just 1 week after the military brought down a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon off the coast of South Carolina. The latest object was shot down over Lake Huron yesterday. It was initially spotted over Montana, but made its way across Wisconsin and Michigan. The FAA temporarily restricted planes from flying over Lake Michigan until military jets could take it down. On Saturday, an American F-22 fighter jet brought down an object flying at 40,000 feet over Canada after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau ordered it shot down. And on Friday, another F-22 shot down an object off the coast of Alaska. White House officials say that the objects were much smaller than the balloon that was brought down in South Carolina. John Kirby, the spokesperson for the National Security Council, says they do not know a whole lot about these objects.
We're calling this an object because that's the best description we have right now. We do not know who owns it, whether it's state-owned or corporate-owned or privately owned. We just don't know. A recovery effort will be made, and we're hopeful that it'll be successful, and then we can learn a little bit more about it.
We have NBC News White House correspondent Carol Lee and global security reporter Dan Luce joining us to help break all of this down. Guys, there's a lot to keep up with here. So, Carol, let's start with you. It seems like the White House and Pentagon are walking a fine line here. They're publicly acknowledging these objects, characterizing the one from this weekend as posing a reasonable threat to the safety of civilian flights. But at the same time, it also seems like they're trying to avoid aggressively pointing the finger at someone. Is that fair to say? What's your take on kind of this line, if you will, the White House seems to be walking?
I think you have it right, Allison. They are trying to walk this line. And the problem is, though, that they're not answering a lot of the questions that are hanging out there that Americans have when they see things being shot out of the sky across the country nearly on a daily basis now. So they did have a briefing by a senior Pentagon official last night who basically said, look, we're scrutinizing the airspace a lot more carefully than we had been before. And so that could account for some of this increase in objects that are being discovered and then shot out of the sky. But they don't know. They don't know what these things are. We are told that they are the size of a car as opposed to 3 buses, which is the size of the Chinese alleged spy balloon. But they don't know exactly what it is. And the Pentagon official said she wasn't ruling anything out, even aliens, Ellison, although a defense official later said, look, we don't see any evidence of extraterrestrial activity here. But this is a problem for the White House and for the president because Americans have a lot of questions. They're piling up. And we haven't seen anybody, a senior face from the White House, step out and up to the president and say, yeah, here's what's going on now. And part of that is that they don't know enough yet. But at the same time, the pressure on this White House and the president to come out and just tell people what they do know and what might be going on because people are terrified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Dan, you look at recovery operations, we know those are still underway. And of course, the more fragments collected, the more we can learn about the objects. That is a process that is not complete yet. But walk us through what we do know right now. Carol sort of touched on this, but do we even know if all of these objects are balloons like that one that we first heard about?
You know, that's a good question. And it's so frustrating. There's so few answers. And I think they don't have those answers. I don't think they're hiding much information at this point. I think they're really struggling. What we do know is these last 3 that were shot down on Friday, Saturday, and yesterday were much smaller. But also, last night the head of Northern Command in a briefing was saying it's possible that they are one or two of them might be like balloons or balloon-like. In other words, there's not a engine on there. They're not moving at the speed of an aircraft or kind of a powerful drone. But again, we don't know. These could be research oriented. They could be sent up by universities or private companies. We don't know if a foreign adversary is behind this. The other thing is they have said this. This is interesting. They've said they've kind of opened up the aperture and they're looking at more raw radar data. And so as a result, they're focusing on objects in the past they just would have basically ignored as clutter or static. And so now they're saying it's possible we're seeing more of these objects basically because we're looking for them. But then it does beg a question, our foreign adversaries or others sending more of these up in the air, or sending more of them up in the air at an altitude that threatens civilian aircraft. We don't have reports that civilian aircraft are colliding with these things either. So it really is a mystery until we find out more. They're difficult to retrieve, those objects. They're out in very cold places.
Well, let's listen to what Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski had to say, because this latest object crossed into her state. She has had a lot to say about these objects in general. Let's listen to this, Dan, and then I have a question for you right after.
To know that we have yet another unidentified object successfully shot down in Alaska, making sure that the message is clear that any sovereign territory or airspace in this country, if there's a threat, if there's an incursion, there's going to be consequences.
So clearly we are seeing an uptick in the number of these objects being seen, being shot down in the United States. But I'm curious, Dan, do we have any indication as to whether or not we're seeing this uptick because there's a breakdown in intelligence, or if it is a result of just the United States being more focused and looking for objects like this in its airspace?
That's the question we don't have an answer to, and it may be a combination. The Chinese air balloon raised real intelligence questions. Are there Chinese spy balloons out there that we're not seeing and we should have picked up before? These latest, most recent objects, it's an open question whether they're merely kind of harmless, innocuous items that we don't have to worry much about. But the answers are going to come, hopefully, from this recovery and looking at these the devices off South Carolina, but also what fell off the coast of Alaska and Canada and Michigan.
And Carol, the Biden administration is facing a lot of bipartisan criticism for what others say is a lack of transparency surrounding these objects. Congressman Jim Hines, the ranking Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, had this to say on Meet the Press.
I have real concerns about why the administration is not being more forthcoming with everything that it knows. But part of the problem here is that both of the second and the third objects were shot down in very remote areas. So my guess is that there's just not a lot of information out there yet to share.
Carol, how much information have they actually gotten on Capitol Hill, and what could we see in the future?
Well, they don't feel like they've gotten enough. The administration has done briefings of various senators. They're more ad hoc. They've briefed Senator Tester of Montana, for instance, Senator Murkowski, Senator Schumer, the majority leader. He also said over the weekend that he was briefed by the president's national security advisor. But the demand for answers just is continuing to pile up. We also heard over the weekend from the House Intelligence Chairman saying that the administration was now trigger happy. So they're kind of in this position where they're getting criticism from both sides, and there's a lot of pressure for them to be more forthcoming with Congress in some form.
All right, Carol and Dan, thank you both so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.